The last spark of hope. Michael's world fractured the day the last steel mill in his small Ohio town, Oakhaven, slammed its gates shut for good. That mill was Oakhaven's pride, its very identity. Michael's granddad and dad had poured their entire lives into its fiery heart. Now, a heavy silence hung in the air, thick with despair. The town's young people were packing up, heading for bigger cities, chasing the whisper of a brighter future. Michael had that option too. His buddies kept telling him, "Mike, what's left here? This town's a ghost." But every time Michael looked at the cracked streets and boarded-up houses, the echoes of his childhood tugged at him. He thought about the people who'd already given up. His heart just wouldn't let him join their ranks. One afternoon, walking past the silent mill, he saw an old man named Samuel. Samuel was one of the mill's oldest retirees. He was out there, among the rusting scraps of metal, crafting little things, beautiful animals, delicate flowers, and quirky, abstract designs. Michael asked, "Samuel, what are you doing?" Samuel smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Son," he said, his voice raspy but warm, "this steel gave our town its lifeblood. I can't just let it die. I'm just trying to keep its memory alive." In that instant, a jolt of inspiration, sharp and clear, shot through Michael. He thought, why just memories? Why can't we make it a reality again? The next day, Michael gathered some of the old mill workers. At first, they looked at him like he'd lost his mind. "The mill's closed, Mike. There's nothing we can do," one of them grumbled, his shoulders slumped with defeat. Michael countered, his voice filled with a newfound conviction, "The mill is closed, but our skills aren't. We might not be able to build massive ships anymore, but we can create beautiful things, just like Samuel. We can give our craft a new purpose." Michael dove into the internet, a world he'd mostly ignored before. He learned about online platforms like Etsy and Shopify. He explained to the townsfolk how they could craft these items in their own homes, and he would sell them all across America. He even cobbled together a simple website he called Oakhaven Steel Art. The beginning was brutal. They were short on cash, long on doubts. They scavenged scrap metal from their yards and sheds. They spent countless nights hammering and welding, their tired hands finding their old rhythm. Michael himself packed every order and lugged it to the post office. For the first few weeks, the silence was deafening, no orders. The familiar wave of despair started to creep back in. But Michael refused to back down. He started writing Oakhaven's story, the story of a town fighting to reclaim its soul. He shared it on social media, raw and honest. He wrote, "We're not just selling steel. We're selling the American spirit, the grit to get back up after you've been knocked down." That story spread like wildfire. People from every corner of America were touched by their resilience and the beauty of their handcrafted pieces. Orders started trickling in, then became a steady stream, and soon, a flood. The people of Oakhaven, who had faced a bleak future, were now working day and night, their furnaces replaced by the focused heat of creation. Smiles, genuine and hopeful, began to reappear on their faces. Over the next few years, Oakhaven transformed. People who had left started returning, drawn back by the renewed sense of purpose. Lights flickered back on in the empty houses. Oakhaven Steel Art grew into a nationally recognized brand, celebrated for its unique, handcrafted products that carried the weight of history and the spark of innovation. One evening, Michael stood in the town's central square. Children laughed as they chased each other, shop windows glowed with inviting warmth, and a palpable sense of optimism filled the air. Samuel walked up to him, his eyes twinkling, and placed a weathered hand on Michael's shoulder. "You didn't just revive the steel, Michael," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "you revived this town." Michael smiled, his heart full. "I didn't do it alone, Samuel. We all did. We just proved that the American dream is still alive and kicking. It doesn't matter if you're in New York or California. If you've got the courage, the dedication, and a community standing with you, you can build your own sky, anywhere, under any circumstances.